What's up? I ain't never been in a place like that. My goodness, they were like, get out. Woo. Eugene Williams, what's going on? Tony Romo is out. He out like a scout on a new route, baby. Jerry Jones is finally finna get rid of Tony Romo. It's gonna cost him an extra $5 million because he decided to keep him this long. Because just by keeping him on the roster and not releasing him when he was supposed to before the trade deadline, he has to pay Tony an additional $5 million. Yes, that was very boneheaded of Jerry to do. Now here's the other kicker. You're gonna love this. Houston was gonna take. They were gonna take Tony Romo. The Cowboys wanted a first-round draft pick. But they already know that you're gonna have to release Tony Romo. You're not gonna keep a quarterback on your roster that's got $20 million on his back. So, no, they're not. John Elway's not finna pay $20 million for a quarterback. That's just it. The only way they were gonna do that deal if they were gonna take another player with that type of salary that Denver had, or was Dallas gonna pay half of Tony Romo's salary? That was the only way that deal was gonna work. So they know Jerry's in a predicament where he's gonna have to make a decision with Tony Romo. Jerry knew he was gonna release Tony. What he was trying to do was seeing if there was a sucker out there that was gonna trade him a draft pick for Tony Romo. And everybody is like, look, we're not stupid. And he got mad because they went and they got rid of Brock Osweiler, and he was like, what? Because he thought he was going to Denver, which is fine. He doesn't want the Houston owner to have him. Oh no, I couldn't go to the House of Pancake. I had to get my steak and egg sandwich. So I got my steak and eggs right there. And I'm raring to go. Yeah, it's raining, man. I'm trying to get in the garage quick. I don't like my car getting wet out here. Look, I done spoiled my baby. But back to Tony Romo. In that situation, the Houston owner and Jerry, they got this little beef going on. So he's upset with the fact that the Houston owner caught Jerry in the middle of his game and said, you know what, you trying to swindle a pick out of us. Look, you want a draft pick for Tony, we understand that, but we ain't finna play ball. Like, when you release Tony, we'll pick him up. You know, that Brock Osweiler, they got rid of that deal. They're paying half of his salary for him to be gone. They're like, we'll pay half of his salary or part of it so that we can get rid of Tony Romo's going to broadcasting. He will not be in the NFL playing. He will be broadcasting. But he did not retire. Note this. Tony will not be retiring. He might take a half a year off, but here's the thing. He's sitting out because of his contract situation. Okay, I'm back. Well, Romo, there's the thing. Romo has a salary cap on his back that says $20 million. Now, once he's released from that contract, the Cowboys got to eat some millions of dollars by releasing him. But that's better than paying him $20 million to be a backup quarterback, because you know Dak is going to be the starting quarterback. Everybody knows that. So Dak is your starting QB. So now here's the thing. The Houston owner, he really gave it to Jerry and got on Jerry Jones's nerves. He told Jerry, look, we already know you're going to let Tony Romo go. You want a draft pick. I'm sorry, but it ain't going to happen. And God forbid, when you don't have Tony Romo and Dak gets hurt, you have the audacity to say when Dak gets hurt, or if Dak gets hurt, who the Dallas is gonna have? He's like, you're gonna let Romo go and retire. Then he said, when you release Tony Romo, and hopefully Tony Romo doesn't get hurt. But my thing is, why would anybody take Tony Romo anyway? Tony Romo is one hit from being out of football. Period. He's played like 3 plays. And since 2014, he's very brittle. You can't trust Tony to be healthy and finish a season. And especially, why in the world would anybody be sitting there talking about Tony Romo can get them to a Super Bowl? This guy, he only has like 2 playoff wins in his entire career. He can't even get them to the championship game to see who going to the Super Bowl. He's the most glorified quarterback to do nothing. I mean, Jay Cutler's been to the championship game to go to the Super Bowl, and he only been to the playoff once. He has personally thrown pick sixes to end the Dallas Cowboys' career, not once, but twice. He's had the most talent around him of any player in his position, and not to win the playoffs or even go to the playoffs. That's the disturbing part about it, is that he's had these opportunities. And he's done absolutely nothing. But the Dallas people, ask them, Romo's the answer. All he gonna do is throw the ball to win, and it's gonna get picked off, and they're gonna run down the field. It was clear Dak Prescott was better than Tony Romo. He displayed it in the preseason, and he displayed it in the regular season. They put shackles on Dak Prescott because they didn't believe he could do all the things he could do. So they only gave him selected amount of plays to run. So he played not to turn over the ball. And he kept getting first downs, moving the chains. They had the most 90-yard touch drives for touchdowns of any team in the NFL. Phillip Rivers did his business. Phillip Rivers did not have a lot of talent. He had some talent, but he didn't have a lot of it, and Phillip Rivers was making it happen. He did a lot better than Romo. Guy only won all those years, and he only won. Oh. But Cowboy fans always believe, oh, it's Romo. You got a guy who was a rookie who goes 14-1. Because the last game, he was basically pulled that they lost. They ended up 14-2. But he went 14-1, and his job was always in question. In what league is that even humanly possible? What world do we live in that that's possible? We're talking about, should this guy be the starter, or will Romo come back? Are you kidding me? When that happens, it's over, baby. It's over. I don't know what record Tony Romo broke, and even in the regular season. Peyton Manning normally has all the records in the regular season, and Tom Brady, you know, he all the playoff records. So I don't even know where Tony Romo would be in any. He got the records for most pick six for a quarterback. And I bet you Tony Romo name right there. Pick six to lose the game, Tony Romo. I mean, he did it in back-to-back seasons to end the game. Tony Romo. And you know what they said? Man, we got to keep Tony. We got to keep Tony. We got to keep Tony. Dez caught that ball. We were going to the championship. That was a catch. You caught the ball. You'd have been down at the 1. You were still losing the game. It wasn't a touchdown. And people still go back to that pass. Man, if Romo would have caught the ball, they cheated us. Cowboys had that game. I'm like, y'all gotta move on. You ever heard the thing, move on? Y'all have to learn how to move on. Romo is done, but he's not retired yet. Meaning that by next year, somebody need help, Romo could come in and take over. But here's the thing. Who's going to pick up a guy that's going to miss OTAs? You're not going to get anybody that miss OTAs. I'm sorry. Tony wasn't going to do OTAs with Dallas. It just wasn't going to happen. Yes, you have Dak for now. We got Dak. Yes, you have Dak, but now let's see how Dak does when people have seen him already and know what Dak do. Now it's different. That's why that sophomore jinx in football is very real. That sophomore jinx is very real. So we will have to wait and see what happens with Tony Romo. Because to think he's all the way out of football, I don't believe it. I think he's going to take a broadcast job. He's going to take Phil Simms' spot. Start his broadcasting. But that's why the Cowboys are giving him his release so he can go do broadcasting. Because Houston, they were never going to give him a release so he can go sign and play football in Houston. Even though that would be perfect for Tony, because Tony will be right at home. But he do not, and I repeat, do not want to have anything to do with retiring right now. He still wants to play football. But with a $20 million cap on your head, now you released. Dallas was only going to release you if you were going to go there. If you were going to Denver or somewhere, they wanted a draft pick. So now they're going to release you so that you can go ahead and go into broadcasting. That's the only reason why he got released this early. So what do you Dallas fans think about Tony Romo? Candy, you might still be sleeping. Yes, in Dallas history. My favorite baseball team? Let me see. I think that about covers it. Or maybe that'll cover it. That guy with the trophy. Same cat. That about covers it. Because I'm a part of winning that trophy. Think people don't be sleepy at work? The way you talking, Candy, you sound tired. Mmm. Mmm. Ocho Cinco is playing in Mexico. He just caught his first touchdown. I'm serious. For the Mexican Football League. He's playing for $1 million pesos. Do y'all know Ocho Cinco is not even 85 in Spanish? Ocho Cinco means 8 and 5. It's not 85. That's what I'm like. I don't even speak Spanish and I know that. It's not how you say 85 in Spanish. Told you, I don't speak Spanish. I just know that much. I can count to 10. And I know ocho is 8 and cinco is 5. And that's not 85. That's 8 and 5. Mm. Don't get fired at work, Candy. You can always go back and watch the video. Well, Phil's kind of old. He's probably just going to do Showtime. Phil got a lot of jobs.
Gonna be a hot night in Vegas. Disaster.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. We might do that this afternoon. Sean is ready to go. He want to talk about the women in the pulpit. No, LeVar Ball won't get $1 billion deal. His father said he was joking, but Nike is willing to deal and give him a shoe deal. Based off the hype alone, they know they'll get their money out of it. He want to play for the Raiders, but with Marshawn Lynch, you don't know. With Marshawn, you just don't know. Oh yeah, that number 5 killed everybody. I knew he was gonna blow the game a long time ago. That number 5 from Gonzaga, he really choked. He was terrible. I knew when he hit them 2 lucky shots, I said, oh, they got to get him out. When he hurt his ankle, I'm like, man, if they sit him down, they could win. All right, Kevin, don't Kevin Sullivan, don't get Dak drunk. No, number 5 missed too many shots in the last 2 minutes. That's what happened. Number 5 from Gonzaga. That's why he was crying, because he blew it. Dak is the man now, yeah, it's his show. I'm like, let it go. Let it go down. I mean, it's time but what happens when Dak gets hurt? This is the sophomore year. This is the sophomore year. This is when it goes down. This is when it all goes down. Sophomore year. This is when teams have seen you. They know how you play. This is when you got to show and prove. More than anything in the world. Your sophomore year. This is what makes or break you. We saw it happen to RG3. We saw it happen to a lot of the so-called greats. We saw a glimpse of what could have been, and then we saw reality. I'm glad he got the opportunity because it was ridiculous to me that a guy who's winning all these games, they're not putting their arm around his back saying the job is yours. Anybody else had the job, period. That's what got me. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Everybody else get the job immediately. I'm like, a black quarterback come in there and go 14 and 13 and 3, and their job still is uncertain. I'm like, what more do you want from this man? He's not turning over the ball. He's doing exactly what Tom Brady was doing. And of course, there's going to be things he hasn't seen as a quarterback. He's just getting warmed up. He's just really getting his career started. I don't think you want to be like me. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of lonely nights. Everybody left like it was over. They said it must be over. Carcino then left us. Carcino don't leave without saying goodbye. Tony Romo was overrated his entire career. I mean, he did a lot of little spin moves to get out of jams and all that mobility, but Tony Romo was not somebody who kept himself dedicated and in shape. He come into camp overweight, then he'll try to lose the weight and get back in shape. Other than that, forget about Tony Romo. Fans got to learn to abandon this old Tony to save the day. All he was a dip and dump quarterback who put the team at risk. He couldn't read the defense. And the defense would be simple, and he would still throw the ball to the wrong person. Made no sense to me. Tony Romo hometown is only 15 minutes away from me. He's from Wisconsin. The actual town Tony Romo is from is 15 minutes away from me. 15 minutes. I can get there in 15 minutes if I wanted to get to that little small town in Wisconsin. Right before you get to Racine, you'll see this one little piece of crap town. Nobody was going to trade for Tony Romo, Kahari. And you know why? You know why? No one was going to trade for him. Nobody was going to trade for Tony Romo because why would you trade for somebody and they're going to release him? You trade for him, you got to spend $20 million to get him. Why would you take a broken down quarterback for $20 million? They'll pick him up once he's released. Tony is not finna go to the Jaguars. Tony want to go somewhere where there's a possibility he could go to the Super Bowl. So he was looking at Houston and Denver. John Elway was interested in Tony Romo, but not for no $20 million. Nobody was finna give Dallas a draft pick for Tony Romo when they know your only option is to drop him. Nobody's that stupid to sit there and do a trade for a guy that's $20 million in the hole. So Jerry's mad at the Houston because they didn't go for the banana in the tailpipe. They thought they was gonna have a deal for Tony Romo. And they were like, look, we're not finna give you a first round draft pick for Tony Romo. Now look, we know you're gonna release Tony because we know you can't keep a $20 million quarterback on the bench. It just doesn't make sense. It's not going to be done. And you're not going to start Tony over Dak. So you're going to go ahead and release Tony, and God forbid Dak Prescott doesn't get hurt. Jerry doesn't like that at all. He does not want Tony Romo to play for Houston. So he let him get released based on the fact that you're going to go to broadcasting, but you are not going to play football in Houston. I will keep you on this bench before I let you go to play football in Houston. And that's where they at right now. He was not going to let him go anywhere and play football. But he has to shell out an extra $5 million to Tony because he kept him past the trade deadline. Nope. Greeting. I met John through his brother Mike. Ooh, wait. Dez Bryant, the best receiver. Are you kidding me? Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant? That bum? Look, Dez had a good second part of the season when he came back. Man. Fumbleier? Stone hands? No way. Dez Bryant. He shouldn't even be in a Pro Bowl. Dez caught that ball. Dez is Butterfingers every year. That one year he caught all those touchdowns, he still dropped about 40. Cowboy fans still believe they was gonna win the game. That one pass cost them the game. You guys were still losing, and the pass was not a touchdown. It was a first down on the one if he did catch the ball, and you were still losing the game. And who's to say Green Bay wasn't going to come back and score, because you haven't been stopping them. No, y'all problem is Zeke. Y'all got to find out what y'all going to do with Zeke. That boy stay in trouble, don't he? He want to party. Pulling girls' bras and breasts out live. So I want to know right now. Where are the Cowboy fans? Tell me right now. Dak has the job. We already know that. Dak Prescott has the job. Now that he's got the job, who is y'all backup? Romo's out. We got that. Romo's out. Who's the backup? So if Romo gets hurt, that's it. I mean, if Dak gets hurt, that's it. Well, here's the thing. I don't think Tony's retiring. I think he's just taking a break. And he's going into broadcasting right now. But I think the deal that the Cowboys made with him is that, Tony, you do not go and play for Houston. The Cowboys and Houston Texans have a beef now. Owner versus owner. It's going to be a problem. Michael Vick will have to be available before OTAs. They don't know nothing about Michael Vick. Michael Vick being in shape. I bet everything in the house, Michael Vick is not going to be a Dallas Cowboy. Jay Cutler would be a better fit with Dallas. With an offensive line, Jay Cutler will kill you. I don't know what you thinking. When the Bears got him an offensive line, they went to the championship game. You protect Jay Cutler, he could do damage. The Bears have not had an offensive line since that year. They all got hurt, and that was it. They were done. Jay Cutler wasn't in the Super Bowl. I don't know what you're talking about. He's never been in one. So how is he going to lay down in a game? It was time for Forte to go. That's Tony. That was not the Super Bowl. That was the championship game. He did get hurt. He was riding on a bike to try to see if he can get himself to go back in. But he was hurt. Brett could come out of retirement. He's in total. He's throwing the ball now, and he's in better shape than he's been in the last 6-7 years. But Tony's out. He's gone. No more running down that Tony tunnel for you, Tony. It's all a wrap. That is it for Romo. He is done. As a Dallas Cowboy, he is completely done. Peyton Manning had one of the worst Super Bowls against the Bears. He did absolutely nothing against the Bears. The Bears' offense helped out them. Period. He barely scored any points in that Super Bowl. I think the MVP was the other guy, the defensive player. Kahari Williams, you just talked about Jay Cutler being in the Super Bowl. Then you talked about my football IQ. Are you kidding me? I think the Dallas Cowboys are in trouble. But this is the best they've looked in years as far as doing the right things by the team instead of hanging on the old spare parts. This year, they don't have Brandon Carr. They don't have Carr's gone. They don't have Barry Church. So now the only one they got left now is Scandrich. And we don't know how long he's going to be on the team. They got a cornerback that played for Green Bay. He's coming over to Dallas. Dallas is in trouble because you don't have a backup quarterback. All you have is Dak Prescott. I know you don't want Mark Sanchez out there. Then you got the Zeke problem. Zeke right now needs to be watched 24/7. He's borderline finna get himself suspended before the season started. He's pulling on women's, breasts, exposing them out in the public. He's getting pulled over for throwing yacht parties and all this other crazy stuff. He's doing too much. He's a sexual harassment suit waiting to happen. Then Dak gets suspended. Then what you got? Plus, he had a hot rookie year. Like I said, sophomore years. This is where you find out who these guys really are. So this is the best of times and could be the worst of times for the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke just act fruity. Not on national TV, I don't. I can't wait to see what Skip and them got to say. See, the thing is, I haven't been asleep yet. I haven't taken my nap. Patriots, Cowboys, Super Bowl. Patriots gonna dominate them. But Tony loved being a Cowboy. More than anything, he loved being a Dallas Cowboy. I will give him that. In the middle of a video, somebody asked me, do I have any videos coming? You're in one. Did you check the timeline and watch the videos that's already out? Tony loved that run out to the field. No. I haven't heard that petition, but yeah, with Oakland fans, I'm quite sure they're trying to do that. Like, they're trying to get LT to breeze over. He's working, like, he's the personal assistant to the owner of the Chargers to try to get the fans from San Diego and bridge the new fans in LA to be Charger fans. It's the silliest thing I've ever seen, but okay. Special assistant to the owner. That's not even a title. Special assistant to the owner, LaDainian Thomas. I'm like, what is he gonna do? Bring him his coat? Hey, LaDainian, yeah, bring me my coat. That don't even make sense. You are my special assistant. Well, they offered Skip $15 million. That's why Skip left. You made it like it sounded like a travesty or something. Like, can you believe this? It's an outrage. No, it wasn't 25 million. It was 15 million. I didn't fall asleep. I would love to see a Coming to America Part 2. I was just reading y'all comments. Easy, like I did the video. Go watch my video I did with them. I was just joking. I didn't even know how they did it. Oh, Power Season 4 is gonna be something. But I don't know why you guys aren't in here talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all in here talking about everything other than the Dallas Cowboys and Tony Romo. I just don't get it. Are there any Dallas Cowboy fans out there? So who is the Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback? So y'all still think Johnny Manziel? If they go get Johnny Manziel, I know the Cowboys ain't going nowhere. If that's the case, they better go get Michael Vick. But that one delusional fan who was like Dak Prescott, I mean, Dez Bryant is one of the best ones. They might as well get Jay Cutler if that's the case. Jay Cutler would fit their system a lot better. And they'll be a lot thankful to have him. I thought he would come back as a quarterback's coach or something like that. Tony could do that, but Tony still want to play. But the deal he made with Jerry was so he can go in there and get in that office. You not finna go play for Houston. That is out of the question. Vince Young was not good enough to be an NFL quarterback. He was good enough to come in. He had one great season, and he saved the job of Jeff Fisher. But the next year, well, after people saw him, he had that sophomore jinx. Then he started drinking like crazy. Started turning up the Patron, hitting the clubs. Then when people start booing him, he ain't never been booed before in his life. He's getting booed at home. He couldn't take it. He went at home talking about killing himself. He was not going to be an NFL quarterback too much longer after that. I knew he was done. I said mentally this guy ain't ready for it. He can't deal with it. And if you can't deal with the pressure in this league, buddy, you ain't gonna make it anywhere. They're gonna make sure of it. Finished 30th in rushing. I'm reading y'all comments. In case you think I wasn't. I'm sitting here reading y'all comments so that we can go over some things. But my goodness. That's right. Same thing I said, John Stewart. I'm drinking a 7-Up, Kahari. That's good for me. It helps me burp. I'm telling you, Dak's going to get suspended. Dez Bryant's going to get hurt. You guys are, your defense is where the problem is. You still got Scandrich there, but Brandon Carr is gone. Used Carr, he's gone. Barry Church is gone. Now, what are you going to do? No, Zeke going to get suspended. Well, Zeke, the thing was, it's hard to suspend a guy when there's no charges being pressed and nobody's saying anything. Zeke was caught in a weed shop. Zeke was caught doing a lot of stuff with the boat party, got the boat crew. Zeke then exposed a woman's breasts out in public doing Mardi Gras. Did not pass gas. That was the PC. That's why Zeke's father had to come down there with him to try to follow him, because he don't want Zeke to get in any trouble. Because he knows his son. He was the same way in college. Yeah, Michael Irvin did worse during his career. Michael Irvin had already been in the league for a while before he done that. He was 5, 6 years in. Zeke just 1 season in. He led the league in rushing. Okay. Almost broke the rookie record. Okay. We see you doing that, but now what's your second year gonna bring? You out here partying like it's nobody's business. Like, I get in shape when the season starts. This is how NFL players, a lot of them get hurt in the first 2 weeks of the season. Something stupid always happens because they have the longest break of anybody in professional sports. The Super Bowl is over in what, like the end of January? And they don't come back to like September just to start like OTAs. The end of July, September. So they off for like 5, 6 months straight. So these guys get fat, these guys get crazy, and this is the only time they really get to do stuff. So they got the longest break of anybody. So for them to say something, it's kind of retarded. For them to even open their mouths. That's what was his downfall. Once Romo hooked up with that Jessica Simpson chick, she was Khloe Kardashian before Khloe Kardashian even came into the picture. She was the first Khloe Kardashian. She might as well been a Kardashian because she was first. Before her, there was nobody else like her. Oh, we already did that video. Randy Moss versus Odell Beckham. They're not even comparable. Yep. That's because Randy Moss was a different type of animal. Randy Moss was 415 speed. They ain't never seen nothing like that. See, everybody thought Randy Moss ran his best when they were at in the combines, and he ran like a 4.3 or whatever. He wasn't running his best. He ran his best when it was game time. He was like, "Oh, I could run real faster than that. I just took off. I wasn't even thinking about it." Once it was time for the game and practice and stuff, Randy was running a 4.15. And people got to see that on the field. With the way he separated from people. They were like, he had an extra level that nobody ever seen before. Plus, he had the best hands that you could see and the best feet. He was the first and only complete wide receiver. If he just like focused on football 24/7 and took it seriously and didn't do all the stupid stuff he was doing, He would have shattered Jerry Rice all his records. Chris went there all the way. Chris was there for a few years, but then Chris was fading out. He became that third down receiver that they would just go to when they needed third down, but they weren't like we gotta worry about Chris Carter. They were like, this Randy Moss guy is a freak of nature. He changed the rules in the NFL. They had double safety over the top. And he was beating 3 guys going down the field. That's how dangerous he was. The man was something else. There was nothing like the freak. Oh, I'm sorry about that. The whole phone did a whole flip. Ever since Randy Moss, they start grabbing anybody with speed who they start grabbing track players. Dude was like, I never played football before. They was like, well, you're playing now. Can you catch the ball? I don't know. I am sleepy. I haven't been to sleep. I'm tired. Santana Moss. Oh, man. I remember him from fantasy football. Always got stuck with Santana Moss. Yeah, I should probably get some sleep, y'all. That's probably what I should do. I don't know, Julio. I might fall asleep in the middle of it. Your boy Carcino, I'm out.